Hello! So we're trying something today, and I need to learn to not talk with so many pauses because of this, and I don't want to make this the longest thing you ever heard, but I'm starting a podcast, and that's what this is. Welcome to my podcast. So the name has been in the works for a little bit, but she has decided, and we're actually going to look at my phone to see the exact title, because I'm terrified I'm going to get it wrong and I have to name it something weird. Okay. Welcome to Whatever I Can't Shut Up About. And that is specifically when I get a new interest in something and I can't shut up about it. And I bombard my Instagram story with it, and I just decided, let's find a specific place to put it. And here it is. So I will have little sections, like this one is Newsiepedia. So what will happen is I will have different sections of like different episodes that are specifically one thing. So right now it's Newsiepedia, so it'll be Newsies. Whether that's 1992, whether that's the Broadway one, whether it's the one that I'm in currently, the production, then who will know, right? But then maybe I'll do like a Star Wars one, or if I get into Wednesday, because I'm technically watching it right now, even though I got like kind of bored, then I'll talk about that, I'm just gonna talk about whatever comes to my mind. And a lot comes to my mind. So, let's get started. Alright, I have no plan for this video. But we're just going to start talking. So I am currently in a production of Newsies, and I play Miss Meta, which is super fun. Are you kidding me? I get to sing my own song. Hello. My only caveat is I do play a Newsie, but I'm not a technical named Newsie. I'm not Race, I'm not Albert, Finch, all them. Not any of them. But my directors were so kind as to give me my own name, Hotshot. The only issue with being named Hotshot is that is a canonical Newsie's name, but it is a Brooklyn Newsie, and I am playing a Manhattan Newsie, being in Seize the Day, World Renowned, King of New York, all that. And your girl likes to stay to canon. It's just how she works. So I did, in fact, create a story for Hotshot as to why he's in Manhattan, why he's not in Manhattan after King of New York, things like that. So it starts off with Hotshot being in Brooklyn. Hotshot is a Brooklyn Newsie and is Spot Collins' second in command. And that is canonical. That is true. His real name is Harley, which is awesome, by the way. And I didn't even make that up. That's real. But onto the made up part. Hotshot and Hotshot and Racetrack from Manhattan have kind of a shared custody kind of thing with Spot and Jack. So Spot will sometimes get Racetrack. And they will both sell in Brooklyn together, which is technically canonical because the Sheep's Head races are in Brooklyn, and that's where Race sells. So sometimes Race will be the second in command over in Brooklyn. And then while he's doing that, Hotshot will be over in Manhattan with Jack. The only thing is, Hotshot is not the second in command in Manhattan. That will always either go to Albert or Finch. But he does help around. And most of the Newsies know him, and even though they are scared of Brooklyn, they are not scared of Hotshot because he is the negotiator. So the negotiator is the person Spot sends to get rid of issues that he does not want to deal with fighting. Hotshot does not fight unless it is necessary. So he's kind of Spot's negotiator. So he also negotiates with Manhattan when it's needed. And sometimes Race and Hotshot will both be in Manhattan at the same time. This is mostly due to a scheduling error or extra hands being needed in one place than the other. So like when Race is in Manhattan for carrying the banner and all of that, Hotshot is in Brooklyn. Then when the prices get raised, Spot Colin hears about it and sends Hotshot and Sniper over to Manhattan. Sniper does not normally go to Manhattan. Sniper is another Brooklyn newsie who is further down the food chain, is not really a second in command, but is just kind of backup for Hotshot. And Sniper is more likely to fight. And so it's kind of like, what is it called? Like, scary dog privileges. It's like Hotshot walks around with Sniper behind him and then everyone's scared. So Hotshot comes to Manhattan for World Will Know, the song, and basically gets immediately pulled in to this huge strike. And being riled up and being as into this as he is, he gets pulled into the strike fully. And he starts striking, even though he's literally striking for a company he doesn't work for. But it's more of a camaraderie with the Newsies, more over striking for fair pay for him. So it's more of he is like, hey, I'm going to support you guys and help you guys moreover than I want to pay what I want to pay and then get money, you know? So he does that and he goes through Seize the Day and all of that, and it's great. He's having so much fun. He's getting riled up, and then the fight happens. Now, Hotshot, as I said, is not a fighter. Does not mean he's not good at it, but it doesn't mean that he's amazing at it. He's not. And he gets into this fight and pretty seriously injures his arm. And this would be shown in King of New York, which I will work with, where if he does something with his arm, he might wince, or he might make a face, and then he will have bandages all over his cheek because I become Miss Meta after that, so I have to have something I can just rip off my face. I can't do makeup. But bandages on his face, maybe I'll wrap my arm. I think that might be fun. But, yeah. He horrible fight, goes to King of New York, dances in King of New York, but after that he is never seen again. At least for that time period, for the show. And that is because Spot Colin, when he goes back to Brooklyn, Spot Colin is angry. Horribly angry. Hey, why did you do that? Why did you stay in Manhattan so long? Why did you hurt yourself for these newsies you barely even know? And that is a good question. Like, why did he do that? And he realizes, yeah, this was kind of stupid, but I had fun. And maybe I'm injured, but it's still super duper fun. And I got to hang out with most of these newsies, and it was an overall good experience. But Spot Colin benches him, basically. He says, stay here in Brooklyn. We are going to go help them. You're going to stay here, and you're going to work with the rest of the newsies that aren't being brought with. You're going to keep them safe. You are going to be their leader from then on. And he's like, okay, fine. And then he's never seen for the rest of the show. And also, other part of why he doesn't volunteer to go to Brooklyn to tell Spot Colin is because Spot Colin is pissed at him, and he knows that. He knows Spot Colin is super duper angry and wants him to come back to Brooklyn, and he's like, I'm not done yet, because that's before the fight. So yeah, that is literally Hotshot's entire life story. But actually, I can tell you Hotshot's life story. Hotshot is obviously an orphan. They're all orphans. But his parents died in a fire. Yeah, they died in a fire, and it was really horrible, horrible freak accident. Like, their apartment building caught on fire, and their door was blockaded shut. Like, on purpose. And he still doesn't know who did it. Like, he was not home. He was out getting, I think, groceries. I think that's what I said. He was out getting groceries, and this freak fire happened. Their door was blockaded shut. Literally everyone else in the building got out except for his parents. So it was very much an on-purpose thing. And he still doesn't know who did it. He ran to Brooklyn because Spot Colin is actually like a distant family member. And he had heard his name a few times and heard what happened to him, because people hate Spot Colin for leaving his home and going to Brooklyn and whatever. So he goes over to there and he's like, hey, my parents just died. Can I stay with you? And Spot, being obviously the courteous guy he is, says, sure, why not? You look like you can help me. And Hotshot went to school for the longest time, because he was orphaned at the age of 10, which is actually really old for Newsies. And yeah, he literally like, he literally just like came to Brooklyn and then made his way up in the food chain and is now second in command. And him and Spot got really close, and him and Race got really close, as well as he has friendships with like Tommy Boy and Specs. Obviously Sniper is one of his best friends. Him and Sniper actually have a handshake every time they leave each other instead of saying goodbye, because Hotshot hates the word goodbye. He will never hear the word goodbye, and if he hears it, he will have a breakdown, because that was the last thing his parents said to him before he left to go get the groceries. They said, oh, goodbye, or bye, anything. He will literally break down and cry. He hates it so much. And he got the name Hotshot by, it's actually really funny, because when you think of Hotshot, you'd think, oh, he's good with the ladies. Not true. This kid is 16, by the way. So he's not good with the ladies at all. He's Hotshot because he tried to learn, he made his own bow and arrow. And he tried to shoot it at, like, it was all made of wood, right? Not good. Not a good idea. He shot it, like, literally just out into the abyss, and it it fell into a trash can a long way from him. He actually got pretty good air on it. He fell into a trash can, and then a few seconds later, a guy walks in, throws a cigarette, and whole trash can lights on fire. So he's a hot shot. The shot that he took was hot. It went on fire. And it also is horrible because his parents died in that fire. So hot shot, it makes sense. It makes sense, and it was creative, and I loved it. I have literally been talking for 14 minutes about Hotshot. It's fine. It's fine. Your girl likes to talk, and that's okay. But yeah, that's basically his entire life story. But when, from the ages of like 6 to 9, he went to school. And he was not good at it. No, and I take that from myself. He was horrible at it. Yeah, literally horrible. Failed half of his classes, cheated on the other half. He was not a good student at all. So he dropped out at the age of 9 to go work at his like parents' business, which was actually tied to the newspaper place. I think they worked actually at the printing, like in the printing presses and stuff. Like, they printed the newspapers. So he learned how to work a circulation thing long before Newsies actually happened, which is actually crazy because he's not in Once and For All. He is stuck in Brooklyn, and he would have been a great help. He would have been a perfect help. But you know what you're gonna do, right? Yeah. So that's so cool, I think. But yeah, I have a lot of time on my hands to create such creative backstories. And I also want to keep it that Hotshot and Miss Meta do not know each other. They don't even know each other exists. Because I never want to make my characters know each other. Because that gets confusing. Because it's literally me. Like, they've never been in the same room together. And that will forever stay. Yeah. But I will get to you on Miss Meta's backstory. Because your girl has a lot of time to think. Yeah. So, let's talk about Miss Meta. She is honestly so fun. She's not actually rich. Despite the song of That's Rich, she's not rich. She barely can pay the mortgage. And that's why when Jack Kelly paints the backdrops, she cannot, she can't pay him. I was trying to figure out the word there. Yeah, no, she can't pay him. Not at all. And she is so incredibly caring. And I love her for it. So when I do her voice specifically, because it's country, it's cute. I like to put like a soft filter on my voice when I talk because it's like you're talking to a scared puppy. Here's a little lesson in character voices. It's you have to figure out what your character is wanting to portray when they're talking and what they're saying, and you have to figure that out with your voice. So if I was saying one of her lines, which is, "We're better to escape trouble than the theater, is Snyder after you again?" When you think of that, "We're better to escape trouble than the theater" is her performative line. She is performing. She's saying, "Oh, we're better to escape trouble than the theater." And it's a joke, basically. Not a joke, but like, it's just supposed to be kind of funny. She's like, "Oh, we're better to escape trouble than the theater." And that's fun. But is Snyder after you again? Is her legitimately being worried because she knows what Snyder can do. She knows what he is because guess who's told him or her? Jack. Jack has told her, "Hey, this guy Snyder runs a refuge and he is literally trying to hunt me and make my life a living hell." Oh, okay. Let's see that. So she does not like Snyder. I mean, who does, right? But yeah, so she does not like Snyder, and you can portray that in your voice as well. But with her being worried, I like to soften my voice like you're talking to a scared animal. And even starting with like, "We're better to escape trouble than the theater. Is Snyder after you again?" Do you see there's a certain clarity to it as well, where it's like, "Is Snyder after you again?" You want to have a very clear tone for that to show just her, honestly. She has a clear tone, and I think that she would not speak nasally at all. I can barely even do nasal. That's another thing. Is like, "Is Snyder after you again?" No, she's not doing that. "Is Snyder after you again?" Easy, clear. She's also like not putting a lot of thought into her voice. You know, she's like, "Is Snyder after you again?" You know, nice and easy. But yeah, that's my little lesson on character voices. But yeah, it is So fun playing her. But yeah. So her backstory is she is just like any kid who does theater nowadays, where it's like, hey, I'm 13 years old and I really, really love theater. I really want to be an actor, a singer, a dancer, whatever, right? She was never good at dancing. Never good at dancing. So she is a burlesque performer. So it is more of singing and being performative, and her movements are so fun. She moves like a star. Like, she moves with such confidence and she sings with such confidence. It is literally so fun. But yeah, she was never a good dancer. She tried her best with singing, taught herself a lot of lessons, looked at other performers and was like, hey, I like that, I'm going to take it. She is a mix of a whole ton of performers, singers, dancers. She is a mix of all of them. And that is from her watching and observing other people. Took her a while to be able to own the vaudeville area. Not the vaudeville area. The Irvine Hall is actually what it is in the movie. Miss Meta Larkin, or Larkson in the movie, but it's Larkin in the play, owns the Irvine Hall and performs in the Irvine Hall. So I can only assume that's where she performs in the musical as well. So she owns the Irvine Hall and she pays the mortgage. She's barely scraping by, but it's like, okay, because this is her dream. And she's living her dream. Maybe not the dream of, being poor, but she is just going with it. And honestly, she's doing hella good. So with the costumes, the Bowery Beauties know how to sew. And the Bowery Beauties are really good with working with costumes and design choices. But she also gets the help of the Newsies. Though she only really talks to Jack, she knows pretty much all of them. And they all either spend time in her theater when they have nowhere else to go, or they watch her shows. The Newsies are avid like supporters of her theater. And it's mostly Buttons that helps, because Button's whole backstory is that he knows how to sew. So it's mostly Buttons that helps with costumes, although Elmer really, really likes to try and help. But he never really does too good. So Miss Meta gives him small tasks that he can complete and feel good about himself, even though they weren't that hard. Jack helps with the backdrops, obviously. And she does teach some of the Newsies to dance. Of course, she's not really the one teaching them. It's the Bowery Beauties. But she says what she wants them to do, and then they figure out how to do it perfectly. Because they are the dancers. She is not. So she gives the Bowery Beauties a easy choreo step. They figure it out. They teach it to some of the Newsies, especially Race. Race loves to dance, and he stretches with the Bowery Beauties before matinee performances. And it's actually really, really cute, because the matinee performances are right between morning paper selling and afternoon paper selling. It's right in between that, right, like 20-minute interval is before they do their matinee. So he stretches with them and he practices with them, and it's actually really, really adorable. Davy learns to like Meta's theater. He comes in every so often with like stuff for Jack's paintings. Like Jack will ask him to go out and get a new paint, and Miss Meta will repay him and all that. Easy stuff, really nice and normal stuff. Catherine loves Meta's theater. Her first time coming to Meta's theater was watching the Bowery Beauties when Jack first talks to her. That was her first time ever at Irvine Hall, and she loved it. She, while was mostly focused on Jack breathing down her neck, she also really enjoyed, like, That's Rich, and she really enjoyed Don't Come a Knockin' on My Door. And after the whole strike and all that, she came back and she watched performances and even stayed after to talk to Miss Meta about singing lessons. So Miss Meta likes to give singing lessons to Catherine, and even sometimes, I'm guessing like later on, Miss Meta forms like an open mic kind of like party with the Newsies, maybe after they win the strike, and where they can come up, they can sing, they can dance, they can tell jokes, whatever. And Catherine goes up and she sings a little jazz, and it's actually really, really adorable. In my head, of course. I'm like talking like this is all actually happening. But yeah, no, it's super, super cool in my head. I'm like, this is so cute. But yeah, most of the Newsies know her. Specs and Finch, they like to hang out in the theater a lot. Like, the theater is just like free air conditioning for them. It's mostly in the summer that they come in. And Albert stays clear stays clear of the theater because he does not want to be caught with anything girly. He does not want to be caught with anything performative. He does not like it. But if all the Newsies are coming to watch a show, he'll go with. You know, it's like a yeah, this is okay, but I'm not an avid supporter. And that's okay. We love Albert for that. But yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Miss Meta also relates to the Newsies because her mother died when she was young, and her father was horrible. Absolutely horrible. But it wasn't horrible in like the I'm gonna beat you up kind of way. It was horrible in the I'm never home and I'm probably like passed out in a ditch somewhere horrible. The only thing that she can't understand of the Newsies is fighting because no one ever, like, her dad never laid a hand on her mom never did, and she never really got into any fights. Now, in the movie, Miss Meta gets into the fight in the Irvine Hall to protect Race, which again is perfect because her and Race love each other. But yeah, and I think she would 100% do that. I think her motherly instincts would kick in and she would just start throwing fists. But yeah, it is actually so interesting to me because it's like when nobody fights, like when somebody doesn't fight their whole life but will fight for somebody, that means that they love that person so much. And the people that she would fight for would be Race and Jack. Although, of course, she loves Jack more than anything. And like literally like her own child. And she kind of like she loves him so much. Like, I can't even put it into words how much she loves this kid. Like, he does stuff for her and she pays him, but then there also comes to like the point where it's like, tell me, where are you going? Like, because if you go somewhere and is in the right place, you can always find somewhere else, but if you're running away, nowhere ever is the right place. And I think part of the thing behind her saying that is maybe this is the right place, and he just doesn't really pick it up. It's just kind of sad. But yeah, he doesn't pick it up and he tries to leave. And he tries to go to Santa Fe. And she knows that there's nothing for him in Santa Fe, nothing more than there is here. And also she knows all his friends are there and it's great. Oh, I just thought about her relationship with Roosevelt. So they did. I'm gonna spill a secret. They did know each other when they were younger. Of course, he's a little older than she is. She's only in like late 20s, early 30s. I don't know how old he is. I could look it up. Guys, I'm getting my phone out on set. But yeah. Is it Theodore Roosevelt or Ted? Wait. I don't know which Roosevelt it is. New York governor was Theodore. How old was Theodore Roosevelt in 1899. He was, guys, we're figuring it out. He was 40. Jesus, Miss Meta, you're dating somebody like 13 years old, older than you. Whatever. It's fine. I don't judge her. When they were younger, when she was like maybe like early 20s, they met. They had a little summer fling. And it didn't end on bad terms, but it didn't end on good terms either. Like, it wasn't like something that they knew was gonna happen. Like, I know we're gonna break up, but I also don't, like, they also weren't like, oh, I know we're gonna stay together forever, you know? So, they broke up, hadn't seen each other for a long time. He became governor, whole bunch of stuff happened, end of Newsies. She's like, show me that backseat, I've been hearing so much about. And, again, it's just a little fling. Nothing comes out of it, and maybe they just liked each other that much, or maybe they just didn't like each other that much, you know? Who knows? I'm not gonna ask her. But yeah. That's super fun. I am loving coming up with backstories for people. But then there's like the real backstories of people that I like somehow know. My favorite newsie is Albert. I love Albert so much. It's also Sky Flaherty. I love Sky, and he is so cute. He's so cute. At least in Newsies. I don't know what he looks like now. But yeah, he's a little fiery redhead newsie, and he is absolutely perfect. I love him. But yeah. He is my favorite newsie. And he is a bully. Huge bully. He is just mean. He puts up walls. He fights whenever someone looks at him the wrong way. You know, it's bad. He gets hurt more often. Like, he's hurt more often than he's perfectly fine. And that's not good. Because he's also younger. He's probably like 15 to 16. He's not very old. And he's fighting. He's on the street. He's a pretty good fighter, but I wouldn't say he's the best. I wouldn't say he's better than most of the Brooklyn boys. I wouldn't say he's better than, you know, an adult man. So it's like, he's kind of like, just, he fights when he shouldn't. And that's the main thing. But yeah, he has at least like 10 brothers. Like, he has so many brothers, and he is the youngest of all of them. It's not 10. I think it's like 7 or 6. I don't know. But yeah, he has a lot of brothers. They're all redheads. They all have freckles. It's adorable. And his dad is still alive. His mom is not. He spends one night a week at his house on account of that's what his dad said. He was like, hey, you have to spend at least one night a week at this house. But he stays at the lodging house for the rest of the time. The Newsies also call him Red. So a lot of the Newsies have their name as, like, their actual name as their newsie name. So like Albert, Elmer, Jack, you know. But like in the movie they call Jack Cowboy. And they call Albert Red, but not very often. It's more of just like a, hey, Red, how you doing? You know, like, it's more of a common name than if you're like talking to him seriously, you would call him Albert, you know? Although not many people could talk to Albert seriously. But yeah, super fun. He is my favorite. He will almost always be my favorite, and I love him. He sells over by, I think, Central Park. I don't know. He says it. Someone says, try Central Park, it's guaranteed. Oh no, that's Race. But Race sells with the sheepshead race. I'm getting confused. Albert is not in the movie. And that's another sad thing. Albert's not in the movie. Some of my favorite newsies are not in the movie. Like, Finch isn't in the movie, although Finch is said to be Patrick, the boy that the mom is looking for in the movie. You know, the Patrick, darling. Yeah, that is because his name is Patrick Cortez. That's his name, and they called him Finch. And I'm pretty sure it's because he has a slingshot. I'm pretty sure it's because he shoots at birds. He shoots at birds, and they called him Finch, and I think that's really, really cute. Red is because of his hair. Specs is because he wears glasses. Kid Blink is because he has a eye patch. A lot of them are really easy to figure out, like, why they were called that. But, like, Crutchy's obviously because he has a crutch, you know? Like, they weren't that creative. That's why I tried to make Hotshot super creative. Because, you know, like, they weren't really cool. Trying to think of other Newsy names. Like, even, like, Mike and Ike are just their names. Trying to think who are the other Newsies. Henry is literally just his name. Elmer is just his name. Buttons is because he knows how to sew and he would sew the buttons back on people's vests. That might be all. Oh, Tommy Boy is because I'm pretty sure his name is Tommy. I'm sure his name is Thomas, and they were just like, oh, you're young, ha, Tommy Boy. I don't know, because I think Tommy Boy's also young. Romeo is because he flirts with all the women, and of course he is 13 years old, by the way. Romeo is 13 to 14 years old, and he flirts with an 18 and 19-year-old woman, which is Catherine. Don't ask me on how weird that is. I know, but he's also a kid. It's just something he does. And he has a very childish nature, and he's a little sexist, but you know, aren't they all? And this is not my making up, this is Eliana's making up, but he looks up to Jack so much. He joined the Manhattan Newsies because he heard of a really cool guy named Jack, and he was like, hey, I want to be like this guy. And he was like, he got Catherine. And he was like, oh my god, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could actually get girls. I thought this was just a useless, like, flirting game and nobody was ever gonna like me. But he was like, wow, Jack just got a girlfriend. What does that mean for me? You know? And I think it is so cute. I think it is so adorable. And I love him so much. But yeah. Newsies is just so interesting to me because I can make up so much. I love making stuff up. But yeah, backstories are so fun. But yeah, so much information in my mind. It just like swims around in my head. I also talk so fast. The fact that I've said all of this in a span of like 40 minutes is actually insane to me. But you know what? It's okay. And we have to get this at least to like 45 minutes because your girl has to. But yeah, it is actually so cool to have a world where you can just think of so much stuff that could have happened between characters and between things. Don't even get me started on the weird ships that people have for these characters. Some of them aren't so weird. Like Jack and Davy. I don't hate it. I prefer it for movie Jack and Davy than musical Jack and Davy. I feel like there's more chemistry with the movie. But then there's just some weird ones. Like, I can get behind Racetrack and Spot. I can get behind it, but the weird ones, like Racetrack and Oscar Delancey, that's a real one, too, by the way. Why are we shipping the 16-year-old boy and the 19-year-old boy? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? Back off. And then there's also just the like weird ships that are like two really, really random background characters like Hotshot and Ike. Which is actually really funny to me because Ike and Spot Colin are played by the same person in my production. And it's so funny because Spot Colin and Spot and Hotshot are like second on command. They're like best friends. Why are you shipping me with my best friend? You know, like it's kind of weird. If anything, ship Hotshot and Sniper. don't I don't think anybody's shipping these random characters. But it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It is super fun. And I absolutely love talking about this. I actually think this podcast is going to go really well because I can talk for hours. I literally just talked for 40 minutes about backstories. But I am going to cut this off soon. Thank you for coming along with my ride. And also thank you to Ryan for telling me to do this. I literally was posting on my Instagram story 20 million times a day, and she goes, "You should make a podcast." Okay, here I am. I just made a podcast. And I am so willing to have guests on here to talk about their newsy character, to talk about their special interest. I'm so here for it. So, thank you. And tune in for another episode eventually. I will get a specific track going eventually. But for now, it's just going to be sporadic. Thank you for coming to my pilot episode of Whatever I Can't Shut Up About. This is so exciting for me because I've never had a podcast before. But yeah, that was Newsiepedia for the first episode. Bye-bye.